was the feeling like that first ever time you sold your body, basically?
I was bricking it, but you know what? It got to such my finances was so dire. I just had to do it. I was coming home with $2,000 a day. And
Really?
yeah, and it was all gone by midnight sometimes. I had a lot of bad experiences, don't get me wrong. I've been nearly strangled to death in there. And this isn't on the streets, this is in a parlor. Fight or flight moment, I thought he was going to rape me. And I literally fled from his flat completely naked onto the main road. I literally, Colin, just woke up one day and it was like an elastic band just snapped. Like, I just thought, you know what? I'm just not doing. I just don't want to and can't do this anymore. I haven't lived that crappy, shitty, life for over 20 years. Put my family through all sorts of hell. Not to come out doing something positive about it the other end. It chokes me out when she says, "Mum, do you know what? I'm so proud of how well you've done from where you've come from.
Yeah.
I really am, Mum. Thanks." And I'm like, "No, thank you to you." Like, yeah.
What's your motivation now in life?
Just to stay on the right track, really. Just keep, yeah.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Reinspire Printing and Neil McAvoy Law. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that bell button to be subscribed to the club and be notified for future content. During my time as a heroin addict, I would always be asked, how did you find yourself on such hard drugs with the upbringing I had? Although your upbringing is vital to the path you take, you'll be surprised that a majority of people met through addiction came from good upbringings or people with undetected mental health issues, which led them to a form of escapism. This is another example. Today's interview is a local woman, someone I've come across during my time as an addict, and recently speaking to her on social media, I can see she's turned her life around and has come a long way. This woman's story is powerful, raw, emotional, and extremely honest. I'm so grateful that she's come to the Central Club to tell us her story and to be open enough to speak about her experience of domestic abuse, the pitfalls of prostitution, and heroin addiction. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you, Tanya Pratt.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on.
That's no problem. Thank you, Tam, for coming. It's mad, isn't it? Like, the life we've lived and the way we've met before, and now we're here sitting doing an interview. It's just...
I would never have dreamt it in a million years for either of us.
I know.
Yeah.
How's things been?
Yeah, really well. Lately, really good. But the past 20 odd years, no, not so good.
Yeah.
As you know, like, with yourself, with the struggles that you've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think when you're growing up and when you're in it, you don't realize like people's lives and what they've been through. You just think, you're in it together and that's it. It's when you come out the other side and you have the time to listen to what people have gone through. You're just like, I never knew that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's the case with you. I want to go in. We want to go in all out here because I know you've got a lot to say. You've been through a lot. I think one good way we could start this interview is by, I've heard you've got this theory about our names and how they determine our lives. So can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, well, it was just a couple of years ago, I came across this article about something called nominal determinism, about how often people's names influence their life path, or vice versa. Which seems to be the case with me. Like one example, Usain Bolt. Obviously, his surname, relates to fast as lightning. That's it. Yeah. There's numerous celebrities with similar names. In my case, obviously, I haven't got a great surname. I know that, folks. but my first name, my dad opened a nightclub when I was about 6 years old, and he named it after me, Tanya's. It was up in the Midlands where I grew up. And my mother begged and begged him not to call it after me, because of, the association of, the seediness of nightclubs and what goes on there and what have you. But yeah, my dad being my dad didn't listen, and yeah, it was he opened it and it was called Tanya's. And funnily enough, I think I was about 7 or 8. And that was the first time I ever actually saw heroin. My dad brought back a piece of foil that he'd found with lines on in the back of his nightclub. And he was complaining to my mother, like, look what people are doing, in the back of my club. And I remember clear as daylight seeing this heroin lined foil. And when I read this article, I just thought, do you know what? My mum had a point, really, even though she probably didn't know about this theory. Yeah, so, and another quite wild thing, if anyone wants to try doing it, is that your anagram of your name can often be quite revealing. Mine is a panty tart.
Tanya Pratt, a panty tart?
Yes. No longer mind, but yeah.
Shame. No, sorry, like, it's amazing, isn't it? Because when we're talking about, the prostitution and stuff, and when you look at a nightclub, it's like, groups of men will go there and, they'll have their business. They'll wreck the place. They don't show no respect. They have a good time and they leave, innit? So,
yeah,
never mind the name of it. Like, that's quite mad, like, to think about that.
Yeah,
if you just sit with it and
the parallels of them. Yeah.
That's a crazy. And what's the theory called? Sorry,
nominal determinism.
Nominal determinism. Like, because obviously I know, like, surnames now. You have, like, Smith. They say they were like a blacksmith, or Bakewell. They were a baker and they've done well baked. Like, but that's just so fascinating to hear that.
Yeah, there's tons of articles about it. Yeah, that explain it probably a lot better than I'm doing. But yeah, I found it interesting anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Have to let me know what your anagram of yours is. Yeah?
I was gonna say I'm gonna do that, definitely. Okay, so if that's what you think determined your life, do you want to start on your upbringing, really, and what happened?
Well, as I said, my dad had a nightclub for about, 7 years. Ended up having murder with the police, big civil court action against them. So I grew up, firstly, my dad wasn't particularly law abiding in that respect. And that, obviously, being a nightclub owner, you're into all that criminal sort of underworld, aren't you? So, and then in contrast, I got sent to a private Catholic convent school. So I just didn't feel like I fitted in anywhere for a start, because my friends' dads were, lawyers and architects, and there was my dad, just nothing like him. So I didn't really, I thought I liked learning in school. I just didn't fit in. So anyway, at age 18, my parents moved to Portugal, which had a really big impact on me, because I think we're going to come to it in a bit, is I suffered, as you have, like, with a severe death phobia. Not my own death, but other people's.
Others.
Yeah, so I was constantly ringing them up, thinking they'd had a car crash, they didn't answer. And I mean, if they didn't answer, it would literally you just can't function. That was a big struggle for me. So they moved to Portugal because my dad had gone bankrupt from suing the police, the thousands and thousands he'd spent. Yes, seriously. I used to walk to my lectures. I was doing a philosophy degree. And I'd passed Abigail's, as it was called. No, Twice as Nice it was called, actually, in the beginning, on Woodville Road.
Yeah, sorry. So
go on.
No, that's fine. So how old was you when your parents went to Portugal? And did you come to Cardiff first, then they moved away? Did they make sure you was, like, safe in accommodation and stuff?
First of all, actually, I went to Liverpool University.
Right, okay.
And I'd had a boyfriend since age 16, really, really violent to me. And unbelievably, he'd broken into my halls of residence room up in Liverpool, cut up all my clothes. And it was taken so seriously by the police, and that they liaised with the Cardiff University and they got me in down here. First of all, I started doing French and Spanish degree, but I soon found out that the year abroad I wasn't going to be able to fund, and I didn't have, parents with money to ask.
Yeah.
Not that I would like to have asked them, but yeah. So I had to change the philosophy. So yeah, I'd go every day past this massage parlor. Didn't give it too much, thought at first about. Well, I didn't think at all about working there at first. I had 2 jobs, one in Burger King part-time and another one working in the university library. And I was financially struggling big time. Just didn't have anyone to help or ask. I don't like asking for help anyway. And then I just whirling in my mind and then one day I just finally thought, just excuse my language, just fuck it, I'll just go knock the door and just, So yeah, knocked on the massage parlor door, and the woman Alison, who was running it, she was lovely to me, and I couldn't believe it. It wasn't like I was expecting inside. It was really homely, looked like someone's home, not like I'd expected it to look like, which I don't quite know what I did, but it was lovely in there anyway. So she said, yeah, you can start tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God. So I told her I hadn't done any work like this or anything like it before. She's like, oh, that's even better. She said, oh, our clients, they love new girls. So yeah, I started the next, it was a Tuesday evening I started, and I earned around £200. This is going back like 20 odd years now. So it was taking me, I wouldn't have earned that in 2 weeks doing 2 part-time jobs. So you can imagine, yeah, I was just hooked that from that day on.
What was
What
was the feeling like that first ever time you sold your body basically?
I was bricking it, but you know what? It got to my finances was so dire. I just had to do it, and I've always sort of had the capability for some things, obviously not the death phobia thing, but to block certain emotions out, and yeah. In fact, I had a lot of bad experiences. Don't get me wrong. I've been nearly strangled to death in there, and this isn't on the streets. This is in a parlor. People think that if you work in one of those places, you're going to be safe, but that is no. My manager had to get injunctions out on clients who were stalking me there. So yeah. If anyone's thinking of going to work in one of those places, it's really not as safe as that you might think.
Yeah. So when you had 2 jobs, you've jumped in this place now. Was you you was obviously an outgoing person to get you've got 3 jobs now. Did you leave the other job straight away when you started to see how much money you would make? Or?
Oh, actually, yeah. I actually, it was New Year's Eve. On Burger King, and I told the manager to go fuck himself because he asked me to clear a load of sick up in the toilet, which wasn't in my job description. So now I was really in a situation, do you know what I mean? So I can't remember what the original question was, but I don't know, I quit them jobs straight away. No, the first that £200, it was like, no more other jobs for me.
Why do you think it is that in life the things we shouldn't do are well paid? Do you see what I mean? Like, it just don't make. I don't know if it makes sense or not. Like, selling drugs, stealing, prostitution. These things that really are, they're not nice things, really, are they? We shouldn't be doing them. They're not normal things, and the reward is just so massive for it. Like, why do you think that is?
Well, do you know what? It is and it isn't. If you work for a parlour, you've got to give half your earnings. It's £50 for a full service, and that's supposed to last half an hour. And I was only getting 25 of that. And you know what? That hasn't changed. 20 odd years later, it's still 50 quid. So,
even if you was in the same parlour for a long time, you don't work your way up, nothing like that.
No.
You're always just looked at as that.
Yeah, you earn your money by doing extras. And I soon learned that my forte was dominatrix. So yeah, that was but do you know what?
Got the boys laughing in the background. Got Dan in the background like that. Weirdo.
But
Really joking.
talking of weirdos, though, one thing I did find really quite traumatic was some of the clients that I had to deal with, and for some reason, they seem to. I think it was because a lot of the girls that worked there, most of them were Romanian, they just wouldn't work with these people. I had to pretend to be a dog, and just the most bizarre things. But I think one of the worst was a man who was a doctor, and he'd been struck off the doctor's list for what would you say? Yeah, inappropriate behaviour, I suppose. Yeah, and anyway, he had a fantasy about me breaking in. He liked to hear about how I'd broken into the local dog's home and I'd been with all the different dogs. So, yeah, I know. So it gets worse.
We'll go into that.
Yeah. So
I can imagine.
Yeah. So after he's got to know me a bit better and had quite a few services with me, it starts getting worse, these fantasies. And in a nutshell, it ended up with the most horrendous stories of paedophilia with his own children.
What?
Yeah, he said he hadn't actually done anything with them, but he was telling, and I had to engage. And I was so concerned. I actually contacted the police, and the policewoman came to visit me in my works, and she said, just keep him coming, and get as much information, because her theory was that as long as he's venting it here, he's less likely to put it into practice.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how many men I've had with paedophilia fantasies. It's worrying.
Do you is it to your discretion then to report this, or is this surely these parlors and stuff, they should be having sort of protocols? This guy's talking about. There's none of that, no.
Do you know what? I think I've said to you before about what happened to me. There were these two Saudi brothers, not Saudi, so from Qatar, two princes. They don't live in Cardiff anymore, but they used to have matching cars in different colours.
Yeah.
And I went to do a service at his penthouse suite, and it was a fight or flight moment. I thought he was going to rape me, and I literally fled from his flat completely naked onto the main road. And luckily for me, I don't usually like to see police, but I was very happy this time. Yeah, they saw me obviously running along with nothing on, got me into the car, got me covered with this coat, and took me back to the massage parlour. They went to go and retrieve my handbag and stuff. In the meantime, there was no crime being committed, so it was no, he wasn't questioned or arrested or anything. But I never forget, my manager was angry with me. She said, "You lost one of the best clients there." Yeah, I got my stuff out my locker. I told her to go fuck herself, and yeah, I went to go and work in another place. Money is all they care about. They don't care about anything else. No. So. Yeah.
Was you always in parlours? Did you ever escort, did you ever do private stuff, where it was just here's my number type of thing? Or because I know, and we will get into it, that you said towards the last 2 years of your life you was actually on the streets doing it. But I know, I've known you for years anyway. I know parlours was your thing. I haven't been there, I'm just saying. But did you ever do any private work? Because obviously, I'd like to tie into this day and age now of young girls who, OnlyFans and escorts. It's a normal thing. So I was just wondering if you had a take on that yourself.
Well, after I left Abigail's and done the rounds on the Ambassador, Number 19, all the rest of it, I ended up working. It's closed down now. It's called The Retreat off Albany Road, and unbelievably, I started there, and up in the loft was a totally unused, fully kitted out dominatrix studio. I was like, oh my days. It's just
Cha-ching.
yeah, because I kid you not, I was coming home with $2,000 a day, and
Really?
yeah, and it was all gone by midnight sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's the maddest thing in it with addiction. You know, so it's not to talk about me, but when I used to make like hundreds of pounds a day, the next morning I'm asking my mum for a cigarette. Like, it's just like, where's that money gone?
Yeah.
So I think this is fitting, really. How long was you in the prostitute game when you discovered Class A's?
Do you know what? Although they were linked in the end, I didn't come to be on Class A's because of prostitution. It was my boyfriend. Going back, I think I was 22, 23. Yeah, when I've got introduced, a neighbour introduced me to her nephew who had just come out of prison. I wasn't really interested in him, but he was so persistent, and I began to feel sorry for him, which is that's something I've learned. You've got to be very careful with feeling sorry for people, because it can get you into all sorts of places you don't want to be and taken advantage of. But yeah, so yeah, got me on the crack first of all, and then, as you know, yeah, that almost leads to everyone down the path of heroin, and yeah, that's how it all started.
Yo, you what I?
Nah, Cole, bro. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit itchy.
What you mean?
Bro, I've been using that Bic razor, man. I think I've got an ingrowing hair from it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What should I do?
This is for you and the fan's sake. You need to go cop up a manscape. Comfy to toss like a pancake, cause now I don't look like a damn ape. I used to be hairy, my family are Greek, but now I am trimmed and my bits are on fleek. Now I get nookie when under the sheets, and the back of my balls don't chafe on my cheeks. I recklessly trim in the dark, the ceramic blades are not sharp. I dangerously shave in the night with the help of my LED lights. I feel like a 1 in a million, wetting up girls like amphibians. I am not into Brazilians, thank you manscape, you are brilliant. And that's it, bruv, trust me.
Yeah.
Like, life-changing. I used to always say I'm a shower, not a grower, but now thanks to the mower, my ting hangs lower.
Yeah, Cole, what about the ball sweat, man?
What you mean?
What about the sweat, bro?
Sweaty sacks are not deserved, so I'm getting them slapped with crop preserve. And once you're down there checking for bumps, make sure you're checking for lumps. Pebble dash when I trim on my stash, mow the lawn, then I'm gone in a flash. Used to shave, then I show in a rash, but my Bic's gone straight in the trash.
Nice one, Cole. You've really put me on there, bro.
Not a problem, bro, but like I said, for you and the fans' sake, if you want to check out your manscape, then hit the discount code, all capital letters, stay central. That's all bold writing, yeah? Like my balls, stay central. You need to cop up a manscape. So did you discover the heroin from him as well?
Yeah.
And how was you smoking it? Was you injecting it? Like how was you using
No,
it?
I was smoking it. Although I not gonna deny, I felt years later now, not with the same boyfriend, I fell pregnant and I suffered from severe morning sickness, so bad that I couldn't even smell the gear, but I still needed it to be able to get better. Yeah, and the guy that I was going out at the time, yeah, he injected me a few times, but then I cut it, yeah.
What was the morning
yet.
sickness from? I used to get that. I'd spew up every morning, and I'd be trying to take the heroin, and it would be coming out, and it's just horrible, innit?
Yeah.
And it was like you were saying just then about the death phobia and that as well. Like, can you talk a bit about that? Like, what kind of things have you been through? Because I see myself in, like, a lot of me in you. Like, I'd be in prison, and like my parents would be on holiday, and like I'd be checking the BBC 24-hour news just to check they were in a plane crash and stuff like that. So is that how bad it was for you?
Yeah. My first memory was at 4 years old when my mum was late to collect me from nursery. And I remember howling and rocking at age 4 in the nursery because I thought she died from being in a car crash. But I do have I know actually for a fact how it came to be that I got this phobia. My dad was, he was quite abusive. Yeah, very, very abusive to my mother, certainly. And he used to time her anyway when she went to the shop. And if she was late, there was hell to pay. So I've had it like sort of from as long as I can remember. It was just drilled into me, like by my dad. Like if someone's late, they're dead. They're in a car crash. And yeah, it almost ruined my life. Like, and I'm not under it, as you know. Like, I'm really not exaggerating at all. I do the same as you. I remember my sister took my daughter out for a few hours, and she was late. And I was ringing the police to see if there'd been an accident on any roads, and just the sort of thing that you were doing. And it took years of therapy, and I'm still not even quite right now.
Yeah. So you say the prostitution weren't the reason you got into drugs. You said it was when you was with your partner, your first partner, which kind of find that. When you was taking it though, did that help? Did that mask any of the phobias you had? Because it certainly helped me a lot.
Big time. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I can't say if I'd have not stayed on him if I hadn't had the phobia. I'm sure I would, because at the end of the day, it's the feeling that hooks you first, isn't it? And then it's the masking of everything that comes with it that also keeps you on it. But yeah, absolutely, because without that, I was literally I looked like a complete I don't know what a polite term is, but I would literally be like this. I got diagnosed with trichomania, where you pull out your hair.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, because I just couldn't cope when something like that happened. So like immediately then, the crack would come out, the gear, if I had the money, and but even if it's for a brief moment, that it's that worry's just gone for a little bit, and then it comes back, and so drugs come out again, and.
Yeah, no, I know. It's mad. You've got such a mad life as well, and you've had so many problems in there. There's one thing I'd like to talk about as well. You was actually working in probation services, weren't you, at one stage? Like, what happened there? Because you must have went through a part of your life where, even though you was making money, good money from prostitution, you were still trying to, sort your life out.
Yeah, I had my daughter, who's now 22. I had her in the last year of my philosophy degree. In fact, I gave birth 2 weeks after my taking my finals. Like this, they had to get me a special table and chair and everything. I was huge. But so then 2 years after that, I got with the guy that got me on the crack and the heroin. And cut a long story short, towards the end of our relationship anyway, I decided I've really got to try and, sort stuff out. I'm at a relatively early stage in this addiction thing. And I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but I couldn't believe it myself. I got through over 2,500 applicants for one of 16 places as a trainee probation officer. I started at that. I was absolutely buzzing. I got myself. I'm not gonna lie. I was still,
Using.
reducing. Yeah.
Was it prescribed drugs, or was it just reducing the heroin?
No, nothing was prescribed.
Okay.
I was still at the stage where I didn't want.
You didn't methadone. I don't want that.
I did. Yeah.
Game over if I have that. Like.
Yeah.
I know.
And I just didn't want it on my records and all that sort of thing. So as in, remind me of the question.
So the probation. So you
probation.
You got in.
Yeah. So started. It was a 3 month sort of like introduction trial period you had to go through. Literally a week before the 3 months was up, and I would have been entitled to what do you call it, where they give you like workers' rights. I can't remember that. Yeah.
The benefits of it is.
I can't remember what it's called now. Like, what, the union.
Well, the union,
The union,
I
yeah.
had that as well.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So, yeah, a week before I would have been entitled to, like, union help, I got called in the middle, we were in some training session. I got called into the main manager's office, sacked on the spot. And I was like obviously, or I was why? They've had information and they've checked it out that I was going out with one of Cardiff's biggest career criminals and I hadn't declared it. And I was like, I didn't think I had to. I thought it was only police officers that had to do that, declare all their families, crimes if they've done
if you're
anything.
in prison, if you're a prison officer, I know that if you're like, I know someone whose mother was a prison officer, and he had to come to Cardiff instead of Park, and he had like over 3 years, but he had to do it either Cardiff or Swansea because Park, his mother was in. I think families, relatives, I think like even like best mates maybe, they won't have it. So maybe it's disgusting. I think that's wrong. Like. That is really bad, I think. I don't know if anyone else agrees on that. Guys, what do you think? Should she have been let go from her job from that?
Well, the mad thing was I had actually, I had managed to terminate this relationship, but obviously I've got a theory that it's him that actually did it. Because he preferred the money that was coming in from the job I was doing before.
Well, you think like he phoned up and said, I'm with Tanya Pratt?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, or didn't, or like pretended to be someone else.
Well, if someone's a career criminal and you're going to be a probation officer, maybe it's in his best interest, and you're making a lot of money elsewhere, then maybe it's in your best interest.
Got no proof, but that's my kind of inkling. But anyway, I lost. I was escorted off the premises straight away.
How do you feel about
that? Who do you think I rang first of all?
Your dealer?
Yeah, in one, and and that was it. I didn't get sorted then until just a couple of years back.
How many have you done many detoxes, many rattles? Have you tried before to get off and it never worked, or?
I got sent to Bosnia by my mum and dad.
Really?
My mum's a Catholic, dad's an atheist, but that was a disaster. I was able to buy Valium from the pharmacy at like 20 pence for a box of 28 valves. I lasted there not even 2 days, demanding my passport back, which they took off me. These nuns, it was like a religious thing. And
you went to like a religious rehab, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So many things.
Have you as well? Yeah.
I went to Victory Outreach up in Abertillery. But like, I want to say to people as well, though, through addiction, it might work for someone, but it don't work for everyone. Everyone's recovery is different.
Yeah.
And everyone's, how everyone got into drugs is different, and everyone's recovery is different. That rehab, which was a religious rehab, might work for someone, but it didn't work for you. And
yeah, they did have many success stories, but no, it was definitely not for me. I had a problem anyway with Catholicism for a start, so
yeah.
If you've got a problem with that and it's a Catholic-based rehab thing, it's never going to work. My dad knew that. He was just trying to keep my mum from moaning in his ear, I think. So.
Was there ever a time? So are your mum and dad still in Portugal during all this time?
Yeah.
Did you ever go over to Portugal? Because they've got good track records with rehabilitation and recovery in Portugal.
Well, yeah, because they've sort of made up to, I can't be precise, but up to a certain amount of possession of Class A's is legal, isn't it? And it's only if you're caught above that, your class as a D, and then you're slammed then. Like, I think it's the 15 they give you first, if you're caught first time with a selling a quantity amount. But I was very fortunate. I went on holiday every year, sometimes twice a year, to Portugal with my daughter, and I used to have to plug my drugs. Yeah, but do you know what? I thought
what, front door or back door?
Front door.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
we have to do back door.
Yeah,
don't we?
of course. I feel sorry.
I'm just like
sorry
curious.
for guys. I know, yeah, but yeah, it's a lot easier for women.
Yeah, of course.
And there was none of these body scanners and all that malarkey. Yeah, so but you know what? Dad being dad, and knowing with his nightclub background, he weren't stupid. He just knew, and he was, although he wanted to help me, he
Enabling?
knew no, he didn't know, wouldn't enable it, but he knew, as like we've come to learn, that if someone doesn't want the help, if they're not ready, there's nothing in the world.
You can go to Bosnia, you could go to Timbuktu, you can go to China, unless you're ready,
That's right. Yeah.
Was there any other ways you had income to fund your habit other than prostitution? Did you go through any other ways of making money?
No, never had a job since that. I mean, sat from probation. No.
So all you've known is prostitution.
Yeah, and like I say, if I hadn't have blown it on, like I say, not just funding my habit, but boyfriend's habits as well. Well,
Be a millionaire.
Yeah, like yourself.
But then the question is, which you have to say to people as well, is, would you be doing that if you weren't on drugs? Do you see what I mean? I certainly wouldn't be shoplifting if I was sober, because I'd be embarrassed to do it, and it's just
Oh
not
no,
the way.
I was I forget about that. I was shoplifting. Yeah, shoplifting by day, because the money that I'd earn in the night had gone by the morning. So then
Do you think you would be a prostitute still if you did not have an issue? I know you started not on drugs. You went in there to make money. Do you think you would have stopped prostituting like earlier on if you didn't get into drugs?
I think if I'd have gone in straight being a dominatrix, where you don't actually have to have any contact at all, physical contact with the client, and like not being on drugs, $2,000 a day. I think possibly my nature. I'm not very good at working for people.
Don't take orders. You give the orders, yeah?
That worked better.
All right, so you've said one or two. So what are some of the weirdest things some of the customers have asked you to do?
Oh my days! I could be here for God knows how long. Get things from bathing in custard. Perhaps the most poignant one actually for me was I was arrested for growing weed in my broom cupboard. Not a huge amount, but anyway, the officer that was the main in charge of the investigation. He had me in the back of the van, and he said, "You know what? You're just wasting your life for where you are." And he wasn't doing it to be. He was saying it nastily, And unbelievably, 2 weeks later, I was working in Angels on Broadway at this time. The doorbell goes. You go to, line up to say hello, as you do. And I see it's the same officer. I'm like, no. And he didn't see me, because it was in a corner. And luckily, he didn't. He hadn't caught my glance. I ran back into the room with all the girls. I said, "You're not going to believe it. It's the police officer that had me done for the weed of the week." No. So anyway, he picked two girls. He had 15 rolls of cling film in his backpack. Went upstairs. Anyway, had his shower and whatever. They came down. And we plotted. They said, they was going to wrap him up what he wanted from head to toe. He wanted to be abused and pissed all over. So when they'd wrapped him up in the cling film he brought, they let me know, and I went and said hello.
Shut up.
Yeah. So he went white as a ghost, begging to be cut free. I was like, not until I've pissed all over you, mate.
Serious?
Yeah, deadly serious.
Oh my God, that is like one of the biggest karmas I've ever.
Yes.
Did he?
Well, I shouldn't. I don't know if I get in trouble for this, but I filmed it on my phone. Yeah?
Shut up.
And I've lost. I haven't got the phone anymore. And I was like, "You two."
Tanya,
I was
H,
like, yeah.
H, run the clip. Oh no, you. Oh no, listen. Wait a minute. Wait, we need to like take this back. Was he like? Do you think he was white as a ghost because he knew it was you, and he thought, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna be caught out here.
And he's seen the phone. Yeah. And,
When you started pissing on him, did he enjoy it? Do you think, or do you think?
No, he was absolutely. He was begging to be cut free. Yeah. Begging.
I would have battered him as well and just said, "It's a dominatrix. This is what you wanted." Just give a fucking.
That did cross my mind.
Yeah. Oh, Tanya, that is mad. That's fucking mad.
Yeah, just goes to show though, isn't it? Do as I say, not as I do type of people.
Yeah.
So,
like, like when you're all there then and you say, like, the door comes, like, what's that like? Do you, like, I'm trying to see it in a sense of someone who works in a parlor now. Like when you all look around the door, see the man, are you like, all right, like, because they want to pick you. Do you have that conversation between you, like, oh, I don't want him, he's fucking minging, or is it just, or are you hoping, like, do you not care who they are? You just want the money type of thing? Because there's got to be some people you probably think, like, fucking, I don't want this guy, he's a weirdo type of thing, in the nicest way,
Do you know what? Each girl's got a different standards. I think there's a lot of racism, I will say, with in particular Romanian girls. I knew a guy that came into the ambassador, and I was just going off shift and leaving. And you know what? There was about 12 girls there that evening, and none of them would go with him. They refused because he was black.
Really?
Yeah. And anyway, I said, hang on, wait, because I'm leaving now. Anyway, he was really, really upset.
Upset, yeah.
Yeah, as you can imagine, like, innit? Yeah. So he left there without, and like, he felt it was because of the way he looked, and it wasn't. It was because of his skin color.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. I think as well, a lot of people will go there. It's like when I know friends who, not me, but friends go Amsterdam and they're like, I'm going to sleep with the biggest girl it is. And I'm going to, it's like a fetish, isn't it? Or it's like, it's an experiment type of thing, where people will go and, sleep with someone they probably never would in the real world. Like, but to be refused like that is shocking.
Yeah.
Especially when you're paying. It's not like, being refused probably from a girl you're attracted by in a club, you feel a bit of, when you're offering the money.
I know.
Like, how must they feel,
I know, like I said, he was, I could tell he was trying to hide it, but like, really, really upset. So yeah, you find that though, the foreign girls, I don't know, they just seem to be quite racist. But I was often the only English speaking girl on many shifts. And so a lot of clients, they only wanted English speaking girls. Some of the girls that had come over and they hadn't been trafficked. I'm not saying that doesn't go on, but all the girls that I've worked with, Romanian girls, have known fully what they are coming over to do. And you should see that they live in the mansions they live in for the money they send back home. Yeah, because you can imagine the money just, you get far more for your.
Is there like is it demographic? Is there like a certain, like, if you look at a whole night shift, is there like a certain type that's more picked than? I don't know how to put it, like, but is it always like when you think, oh yeah, like she gets more work than them, not just by looks, it could be by, like you said, where they're from, or.
Well, do you know what? It's I've often felt that I'm the ugliest girl that's been on shift because these Romanian girls are, they're stunning, really, really pretty. But you know what? They've got a really bad attitude.
Yeah.
They treat the client just really rudely. I've known many cases like stories like the condoms are supposed to be, or they are free. We get them free. And they've charged the client £10 for one because it's broke, oh, you have to pay a tenner if you want another one.
Just
you
ways
know?
to try and make their money as much as they can.
Yeah,
like.
which was, so that they're not going to be, so that puts clients off then. So,
Well, then you're not going to make your money next time. You're going to say, I'm not going to go to it. You charge me a tenner for a fucking condom.
Yeah, but they don't
know?
look at it like that. Then, so that that helped me actually, because they, being the only English girl quite often, and I would, I'd shake the hand, quite bubbly and all that. And,
Yeah.
So, but I have come to realise that, especially on the streets, they don't care what you look like anyway. Especially if it's dark, isn't it? You can put anyone on there, and if a man's looking, for that,
We'll go on to the streets now in a minute. I just want to, like a final touch on the parlours and stuff. Are they fit for, would you say they're fit for purpose? Are they moving with the times? Or are they very dated? And are they the same as they always have been? If that makes sense.
We had support workers. The one in particular, I won't go say her name because I haven't asked her, but Nikki. Oh, she was just wonderful. She came every week, checked that we were all fine. You could have STD checkups and what have you. And actually, she's setting up, or she has set up, she's going to be lobbying the Welsh Assembly for more rights for working girls. So people like her, voluntary. She'd be, and also I know we're going to go on to the streets in a minute, but there are brilliant volunteers that have worked with us, and
Do you need a work uniform? Want to start a clothing brand? Or maybe you have a football kit that needs a logo printed? Well, if I was you, I'd get in touch with the Reinspire Printing Company down Treforest Industrial Estate for the finest printing and embroidery in Wales. I use them for my custom-made mankini, but you could use them for t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and many, many other things.
Have you moved on yet, mate? In the car sense? Replace that old model with a fresh new whip, but now your ex is threatening to scrape your keys through it? Or maybe you just want to protect that new paint job from grime and dirt damage. Well, if I was you, I'd get yourself over to Unit 4 Keypoint, Cardiff, CF24 5HF. Services include paint protection film, ceramic coatings, vehicle wrappings, and car detailing. Customer packages available for track bikes and cars. Now, I don't drive, so I'm certainly going to get my bike done. Tough Films Limited. Get in touch. So, I know, correct me if I'm daft, is it legal or illegal?
It's a really grey area, but believe it or not, the Ambassador and the one on Woodville Road, well, I can't keep up with the names. It has so many names. I call it Abigail's, but it's not called that anymore.
The one by the rock, is it the rocking, not the rocking chair, the Jamaican, the Caribbean place next door, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's the one, opposite Sainsbury's, isn't it? Yeah.
Dan looking like, how do you know? It's just one of them things when you're young and you're renowned where they are.
Of course, yeah. That's right. If you've grown up in the city, you always, you know these places are. But what was it you asked me?
Are they are they illegal or are they legal?
Oh yeah.
Have they got licenses? Have they?
Yes, they do. They have. They do, but have licenses. The police have taken the stance that it's better to sort of try and work with them.
Safe,
and that was more on the side of stopping trafficking, when actually I know that I came probably across 2 girls that have been trafficked in
Cardiff.
in that particular parlour, and I don't know.
How do you know they've been trafficked?
Well, one of them, she was quite open with what had happened to her, and then another girl, I became quite friendly with, and she disclosed to me, but she would howl and scream and have nightmares every time she went to sleep, night after night. So you knew that, something pretty traumatic must have happened to her. But the rest of them, no, just happy, sending money back home, getting more mates to come over. So they do, they're not all trafficked at all.
So what ultimately led you to go into the streets?
Well, I'll name him because, obviously, he's ranked as my least favourite person or among them. Carl Smith, went out with him for about 4 years. And he'd already got an injunction from Abigail's because I went back. I'd walked out enough times over arguments, and then she'd always have you back, Alison. Anyway, like, you always wanted English speaking girls. But yeah, he caused so many problems where he was knocking, hounding me, waiting for money, waiting in the alleyway at the back, seeing if I was picked. And then if I had waiting half an hour, I'd have to, and everyone could see I was running out, giving my money. So yeah, they got an injunction that he couldn't come anywhere near the place. And then, cut a long story short, I fell asleep after a shift at my flat that I shared with him, and he took my bank card, and I'd been saving up for my daughter's Christmas presents, and I think it was like £400. Took the lot, and I woke up, and it was just the beginning of December, and I thought, what am I going to do, like, to get the money to, like, what he's taken, with drug habits and all the stress from him. And I just went one day and just thought, is this what I've got to do to get my daughter's presents? And I went on the street corner at the Magic Roundabout.
And what was that like as an experience? Was it just another day at the office, or was this totally different?
No, totally different. The first, I walked up to the corner where the girls would stand, and there was just one girl there, Mina McDonough. Probably as the one that's in prison.
In prison, no.
Yeah.
For the murder of Cookie's brother.
Yeah. I think she's got 20, no parole, isn't it? She got slammed.
Another waste of life.
Yeah, but I didn't like her. The first thing she said to me, she's just out. She says, "Get over on the other side. This is my thing." I said, "You don't own the pavement. Like, who do you think you are?" She said, "I'll tell you what I am." She says, "I'm the prettiest of all the working girls here, and you won't get anyone like that." I thought, "Oh my God, please, I'm going to have a worse stuff." So luckily, I said, "You know what? Well, anyway, whoever comes along first, they're yours." Like, and I just thought, I didn't want to start a fight with her, but I wasn't going to be. I was bricking bricking it, but I wasn't going to make her known that she could just bully me. So yeah, she was picked up quite quickly by someone on a motorbike, and then me not long after. And I was just frightened to death. I was thinking, and he took me to the industrial estate, innit? And oh God,
from the back, innit?
Yeah, and I was just thinking, I could be murdered, and it really hit home when my dad, is it Norfolk or Ipswich, the 5 girls that was murdered.
Yeah. Was that Belfield? No, that weren't Belfield.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But he was a regular punter for them girls for years, and then suddenly something switched, and he killed, like, I think 5 of them. But one of them was called Tanya, and my dad rang me up. My dad rang me up the morning it had been on the news, just to check, because she looked a bit like me, and just to check that it wasn't me. And I thought, oh God, I just.
That's fucking.
What am I doing to my family? But I still didn't stop.
That's fucking dreadful, isn't it? So, what would you say your turning point in life has been? Because you've been through so much. We could sit here for hours and run it linear and go through your life story, but it's just too much. I know, like, there was the one thing as well with I won't say his name because I know of him as well. But like where someone passed away in your house and you was accused by people. Like, I know the feeling, and I'm not just saying that. I know, like, I've been in a similar situation where a friend has passed, and do you see what I mean? So, I
I know there's so many similarities. It's nuts, like, but oh God, one of our friends came over, just to chill. I'd gone to work at the roundabout, left the boyfriend with him, came back, soaked some drugs. Not with our friend that had come over because he was a drinker. Anyway, he fell asleep. I've took a cup of Valium, as did my boyfriend. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, went to the loo. So, God, he's sleeping hard in the same position. But like, he'd been drinking loads, so didn't think too much of it. Then I woke up at 2 p.m. and boyfriend was still asleep. I looked over because it was like my bed and sofa were in the same room, and I could see he was dead. But anyway, ran 999 straight away, and even though I knew he wasn't with us anymore, I was trying to give him mouth to mouth, and unbelievably, instead of because they were saying move him on his back, and I couldn't. It was dead weight. It's so heavy, isn't it? Like, yeah, the boyfriend at the time, I will say his name because it's the same one I mentioned before. Anyway, Carl Smith. He had a warrant out for his arrest. He was getting dressed as quick as possible. Stole the guy's phone. Can you believe?
What?
Yeah, and left me to deal with it. Jumped over the back wall. Yeah. So, but yeah, people began calling me a murderer, saying that I'd injected him with heroin and killed him. And it wasn't until the autopsy came out. There was no Class A's in this system whatsoever. He wasn't a Class A user.
No.
And I didn't have an apology off anybody. So that's that did affect me.
Again, the stigma, the perception of it, and
yeah, I got into a fight with a girl that she was saying she was going to beat me up at the funeral if I went, like, and all this. So I didn't even go to the funeral. I really wanted to go to that. So yeah, sorry
to hear that.
No, it still affects me. It does, just affect me to this day.
So was because that wasn't too long ago. Was that one of the like final breaking points, do you think, for you getting clean?
Do you know what? It's a funny thing, me getting clean. I went to prison for it was class street robbery, but basically I gave a little beating up to a girl that had stolen my christening gold and loads of other stuff from my house. Hadn't seen her for 5 years. Saw her by the train station, and just lost it basically, not realizing there's one of them huge cameras above a lamppost. So I didn't really have any defense. So I came out. I was put on remand. Yeah, got bail to a bail hostel in Swansea, and then got recalled not too long after for breaking tag and whatnot. Came out, and I was so lucky not to get a custodial sentence. Really, I found my lucky stars to this day. Because prison is not. I'm not a prison. Some people are in and out.
Yeah,
I just couldn't have been living my life like that.
Yeah.
But I literally went into a homeless hostel, got kicked out of there. Went to another one, and I literally just woke up one day, and it was like an elastic band that snapped. Like, I just thought, you know what? I'm just not doing. I just don't want to and can't do this anymore. And I wasn't even expecting it to even. It just came right out of the blue. Got myself on a script. Worked my way down off 100 ml of meth to go in on subbies, which I'm still on to this day. I haven't touched gear for almost 2 years now.
That's amazing. Well done.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of other people to say well done to. And even if you're not there yet, fucking no, it can take loads of trips around the
None of us are out of the
cycle.
forest, do we yet? Like,
And-
you know, we're all still recovering, but
Yeah.
the fact that it's, you know, you've gone that far is
Because
amazing.
I'm not going to lie, I have had a couple of relapses on the crack,
whiskey, on the crack.
but not massive, you know, ones that have you know led me completely to go back to where I was before.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that at all. Yeah. Well, I've known him. He was my ex-dealer actually, but the guy I'm with now, and I'm so happy. He doesn't lay a finger on me. He treats me like a queen. So I'm really
Shout out to Tauti as well.
Yeah.
He's a good egg, isn't he?
He
You can
is.
tell he worships the ground you work on.
Yeah.
And I think you deserve that, you know, after, you know, the relationships you've been in, the bad luck you've had. I think you deserve that. Do you know what? I love how honest and open you've been about everything. I heard you're writing a book, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you know what? It started off. I used to write, well, I still do write poetry.
I've read some, very powerful. I'm not just saying it, guys. Like, I'm really excited whether you write a book of poetry or it's powerful. And like, my missus has read some of them, and she was tearing up basically. So yeah, so I think it would be really good to get a book out for yourself, definitely.
Well, yeah, I started writing it, not as you know, to be published, just to try and work through my, you know, mental health issues, addiction issues, just try and just work through it. Because then I think you probably get you forget being on drugs. You time frame. You can't remember what came where and what have you. So yeah, I've almost finished it actually. So yeah, and it wasn't until my I've got to give her a shout out, Rachel Jenkins.
Okay.
She's from Hereford, and she wrote a book about her experience of nervous breakdown and mental health problems. It's called Freedom, and yeah, I read her book, and yeah, really, really inspiring. So like, yeah, now I'm sort of toying the idea of like going on Amazon and, you know, even if it helps just one person,
That's
like,
it.
do you know, and I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I just wouldn't want anyone to go down the path that either of us have been down. It's just.
Well, this leads on to my final couple of questions. And the first one is, do you have any regrets? And if so, what's the biggest regret you have?
Do you know what? I try to look at it of turning the black cloud, not looking at that and trying to look at the silver lining, which is like going back to my book thing. I just thought, you know what? I haven't lived that crappy, shitty, you know, life for over 20 years, put my family through all sorts of hell, not to come out doing something positive about it the other end, you know, to try and help others. And you know what? If I did ever get any money from doing any kind of book, I would love to set up like some sort of drug rehab centre, because I did do voluntary work in one before I got on all this classes.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's not many people. I'm not going to say where it is, but it's a mother and baby rehab unit in Cardiff.
That's amazing.
There's not many in the UK, but the man that runs it, didn't give two shits about the women and the kids in there, or all about the mullah. Yeah.
Well, if you ever want to do any type of stuff like that, come and contact me, because we've got Voices Action Change, which is doing really well. It's all about service user involvement, people who have been in services, people who are currently in services, having a say in what goes on in services. And, you know, I wouldn't jump on something which I thought was, you know, just a load of bullshit. Like, do you know what I mean? If it didn't work, I wouldn't bother. I'd pursue my own dream. But, well, you know, we are making grounds and we're changing perceptions, and it's good. And, you know, we've got about 8 or 7 people now who've been trained up to be reps, sitting on interviews and stuff. Yeah, so... Well, give me a message on that and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
How's your relationship with your daughter now?
Do you know what? I have got the soundest daughter. Yeah. Shout out to Ellaby. Although, like, I've okayed all this with her, like, because you don't, you know,
of course.
Yeah, she's 22. She's always known what I've,
got up to.
Yeah, although not indeed. Yeah, and she doesn't want to read my book if it ever
Comes out.
came out. And she's really supportive. And you know what? It chokes me out when she says, "Mum, do you know what? I'm so proud of how well you've done from where you've come from.
Yeah.
I really am, Mum. Thanks."
It's
And I'm
amazing.
like, "No, thank you to you." Like, yeah.
What's your motivation now in life?
Just to stay on the right track, really. Just keep, see, right.
Come on. You're doing really well, Tan. Honestly.
Yeah,
drink?
just to,
Do you want a drink?
No, I still got a cold coffee probably now. Yeah, just to keep on the right track and just keep on going and just improving. And like I say, I think like you've just said, ex-addicts now, or even those that are not of minimal use, if you like, people are realizing their worth. Do you know what I mean? I've had support workers. Well, I'm having to, tell them, how things are. Thinking, shouldn't they know this? Like, if you, try.
Yeah.
You're my drug counsellor. So I think it's a really good thing, like what you're trying to do, like, user involvement, really important. Yeah.
Finally, what would you say to the young female and male viewers out there who are looking to sell their bodies now, whether it's online or not?
Some people might disagree with what I'm about to say. I think if you are, because I do know people that don't touch any drugs at all, and they are doing extremely well out of what they choose to do, but they're taking a risk still because they're doing it at home with no one else there. So you've always got, if you're working like that, you've always got to have someone parked outside, even if you're that worried, because no joke, it is. I've been raped. I ain't going to go into that, but I've been raped numerous occasions and sexually assaulted. And if you're not, I'm not saying I'm strong, but yeah, it can for some girls, they ain't going to cope with that.
Life changing.
Yeah. Just I don't know. It's free choice for everyone, but parlors, stay away from. You just used £25 for half hour full service. In the grand scheme of things, and it's that's not a good wage considering what you're giving away, of yourself. But yeah, dominatrix. It can be successful, but do you know what? I've known girls that have said to me, "Oh, do you know what?" In fact, I gave one girl all my equipment because obviously when I got with Saudi, I was so in love with him. Yeah, that was just
Nothing's important.
No, that was out the window, and they thought they would be able to do it, but actually, it's not as easy as it seems. Yeah. So don't be thinking, you can just shout a few swear words at a bloke and put him in some handcuffs. And
Did you put Tauty in a handcuff? So I know you said you're giving,
God, no. No, then I would be in trouble.
Tan, honestly, it's been really, really nice speaking to you. It's been nice, full circle, innit? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're here now. We're doing well.
Well, like I say, Carl, I knew you back in the day when, if you don't mind me saying, about the train station where I used to see you all the time. Yeah, used to see Cullen at the train station, dressed up as a student with his rucksack with some books poking out, saying he'd lost his wallet. Oh, please could he have some help off whoever was passing to get his train home.
That was my
so convincing. I'd have bought it any day of the week. I didn't really know what he was up to. Yeah. So hats off to you because you have
Yeah, no, thank you.
Nailed it.
I hope this book comes to fruition, and we would happily help promote it. Whether you wanted to come on or whether you want us to do like some sort of advertising for you, we will be behind that all the way. So,
Oh, do you know what? Thank you guys.
I'm glad you came. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
and I was I was really nervous, but thank you for having me
Yeah,
on.
no,
here.
there's one more thing I've got to say. Sorry. If you could look down that camera,
Oh.
if there's anything you would like to say to the people out there, anything inspiring, anything, any valuable lessons, go for it down there.
Oh gosh, I think I've said like practically, yeah.
You can
I've
do
tried to encompass everything in. I don't know how long I've been chatting for. I can chat for a long time, but just think really carefully, guys, about everything you do in life, really, because every action that you do has a consequence somewhere, be it a consequence on yourself or on somebody else. And that's the one lesson. Just think about your life choices, because the difference between taking a left or a right, it's humongous. Just think.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should we do more like Tanya's story? Take care. Stay central.
The Central Club.